The 417Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, episode 39, the one with small footprint games. In the four, Andrew and I talk about four games that we've been playing recently: The Downfall of Pompeii, Elysium, Beez, and for Star Wars Day, we played Star Wars Rebellion. Actually, we played it before, but we're releasing this right after, so you know what? Hey, it counts. In the one topic of the show, we talk about small footprint games. Some people don't think that they give enough love. We think we give ours quite a bit of love. And in the 7, we talk about 7 of our favorite small footprint games. Without further ado, the 417 Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. My name is Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
In the 4, we like to talk about 4 games that we've been playing recently. You want me to start off, or you want to start off?
I'm going to start with Downfall of Pompeii.
Yeah, this was published in 2014, designed by Klaus Jürgenwerde, and it was published by Mayfair or Amigo Games.
Basically, your people are running away from lava.
Yeah, they are.
The floor is lava, literally, in this game. And when the lava gets you, you throw your meeple into a volcano of lava.
Yeah.
So, great game for kids. So each player has a different color meeple.
Yep.
The first portion of the game, you're putting your meeples out into sections of the city. The city has exits, and because you're psychic and you know at some point this volcano is going to blow, when you're putting out your meeples, it is advantageous to have them as close to the exit doors of the city as possible, because the second portion of the game, the lava starts to spread and you are moving your people out of the exit. Every meeple you get out of the city and saved comes to you, and you get to keep them as points. If you don't get your people moved out fast enough, yep, they go into the volcano.
They do. So, yeah. Tile-laying game. It does show its age a little bit. The game board has a hole on the side where you put this little thin plastic volcano that wraps around. You put it together, put it off to the side. And we spruced ours up a little bit and got those flicker tea lights, and we put it in there so the volcano flickers as you play.
It's fantastic.
It's one of those just little bitty add-ons, and that's something we want to talk about down the road, is sprucing them and upgrading your game. Mm-hmm. And this is a little game that wasn't much sprucing.
Yeah.
It comes with little cylinders, which we're going to replace with some meeples. But Downfall of Pompeii, it's an older game, but I love playing it.
It is fun. It sounds a little sadistic, but I enjoy it.
Staying in the same area of the world, we're close to it anyway. We're talking Elysium. Elysium came out in 2015, designed by Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert, published by Space Cowboys. Elysium it's a card drafting game. You have your little pantheon with 4 columns. Each round, whenever you're drafting, the card has, on the top right corner, has 2 prerequisites. You have to have those color columns in your supply at the moment. Mm-hmm. Then you take that card, you draft it, and it goes to the top, and it has, some of them have immediate effects, some have ongoing effects, some have trigger effects, and some have end-of-game scoring. Or end-of-round scoring, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Whenever you take one of the cards, you spin one of those pillars. There's also quest tiles above those cards. The quest tiles basically help you do end-of-round income and scoring. It tells you how many cards you could bring over for scoring, and then gives you some money to do so. Because to bring the cards down for your scoring area, they come in levels of 1, 2, and 3, and that's how much it costs to bring them down to your scoring area. Level 1 card costs a gold, a 2, a 2, a 3, a 3. When you bring them down, you're trying to create families or groups. The families are all of the same color but different numbers, or the groups are all of the same group of number but different colors. And you get into games points based on how many you have in those groups, or if you're able to finish the group, you get the max points. I thought it was really good. We got it on our friendly local game store, but after we played it, it was a game I really enjoyed in 2015 when it came out. It was a contender for the Kennerspiel des Jahres, which is like the hobby of the connoisseurs game of the year in Germany. Really liked it when it came out. I saw it on our friendly local game store's pre-used shelf. I was like, oh, I haven't played that in forever. I remember really liking it. And we liked it when we played it, but we don't have the room for good.
We only keep the greats.
We keep the greats. So it really needed to do something better than what we already have. Because at the flea market a month and a half ago from this from this episode dropping, we cleared out about 27 games. Mm-hmm. And the New Year's resolution was to get rid of 30 by June. We ended up getting rid of another game that evening. So I was at 28 as of this recording, that day of the flea market. So hopefully whenever this episode drops, maybe I've found a way to get rid of a couple more and finish that. But what did you think of Elysium?
I thought it was fine. We have other games with the same type of mechanic that I enjoy more.
Yeah. What else would you like to talk about?
Beez.
Beez was good.
Beez was pretty good.
Another one we got off the used shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very colorful and vibrant. And it's one of those games that we have so many animal games in our collection. It was good.
It's a simple, lightweight, I would call it an introductory level game. I look forward to playing this with my brother, who's not a heavy gamer, but he enjoyed the game from now and then. The little bees in this game are fantastic. They're not just meeples, they're like little life-size little bees. They're
big old bumblebees.
Bravo to the designer, because those bees are fantastic. You are moving your bees around a board to collect pollen. The pollen then goes back to your honeycomb, and you are dealt cards, point cards at the beginning of the game, where you are trying to satisfy different requirements, whether it's having all the outside of your honeycomb filled or having all the level 2 honeycombs filled to get your end of game points. Cute little easy game. I really enjoyed it. We've only played it a time or two. I'm looking forward to keeping around for friends and family for a couple more plays. I don't know if it'll make it into our keeping greats of all time, but for the moment I'm enjoying.
Yeah, when we played with a new couple that came out and had a good time with that, and when it was all said and done, everybody that played it had a good time. Mm-hmm. And we walked away thinking, we at least need a few more plays of this. This was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's great yet, like you said, but it's really good. This is designed by Dan Halstad. It is published by Next Move Games, published in 2020. This episode is dropping May 10th, if I did my editing correctly, which is just a few days after a certain holiday that you and some of your friends and family celebrate.
May the 4th.
We played Star Wars Rebellion. This is a game that was on our unplayed shelf for 2 years because it's another game we picked up. Actually, we picked this up at the Metagames flea market a few years ago. Mm-hmm. This is designed by Corey Konecka, published by Fantasy Flight Games. It came out in 2016, so it's 9 years old itself. Mm-hmm. This is Star Wars in a box.
Oh, 100%.
There's a big board you put in the middle between you, and you can either play 1v1, 1v2, or 2v2, and do teams, or just, one team is the Rebel Alliance they have a secret base, and they're trying to get their plans together and hopefully turn some planets to their side. And the other part is the Empire, and they have they start off with a Death Star, which is bull.
It is almost scarily accurate to the movie because the Empire is just, they got all the cards, man.
Yeah.
They got all the power. you start off, as the rebels, you could start with basically nothing. You have your secret base, and you don't want the Empire to find your base. And your character cards the art on the cards is screenshots from the movie, basically. Yeah. The minis are what really sells this game. You got little Star Destroyers, you've got
Super Star Destroyers, which
X-Wings, Y-Wings.
With Ethan, and he didn't even have to bring out the Super Star Destroyers. He just kicked our butts with one Death Star and a couple Star Destroyers.
Yeah, we got our butts handed to us. We got our people captured, and they found our secret rebel base.
They did.
Yeah, we didn't do so good. The movie would have ended much differently had we been playing. We did not win.
We did not.
I almost feel like if you've played Pandemic, you can choose to play easy, medium, or hard. I feel like this game needs that because I feel like we played the hard version.
Ethan's a good player.
He is.
He is very efficient at what he does.
He was the Emperor.
He was very much the
Emperor. He was Palpatine. He's like, ha ha ha.
He electrocuted a couple
people.
He
did.
He went over. Big Papa Palp came over there.
That's what he called him too, Big Papa Palp, coming in. Yeah, we got our butts handed to us, but the game was very enjoyable. And if you're a huge fan of the Star Wars franchise, you should give this game a play.
It was enjoyable, but did it stay in our collection?
It did not, because probably I was a little bit hurt about how thoroughly we got trounced.
I had no problem getting my butt kicked on that game because there's War of the Ring, which is the Lord of the Rings equivalent, and I like it. I like it slightly better. But that big of a two-player game, if you did not enjoy it as a team game, I didn't figure you'd enjoy it as a two-player game. And if you and I are not going to get a big two-player game to the table, and it took me 2 years to get that sucker played, there's no reason for us to keep it.
Right.
It is Star Wars in a box. If that's what you want to experience and you have another gamer friend or significant other that you can get that to the table with, it is worth picking up and playing through.
Yeah,
especially if you can find it on a friendly local game store's pre-owned shelf.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But that's the 4 in the 417 Gamer podcast. We go on to the topic of the show. I don't know what the topic of the show is yet.
Well, it'll depend on our guest star.
It is. If we have a couple guests that we're, as of this recording, that we're trying to reach out to, I'll just cut this out. And we'll go on to the one.
Tremendicon is taking place May 30th through June 1st at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center. Tremendicon is more than just another comic convention. Following Tremendicon's principles of education, inspiration, encouragement, collaboration, and charity, Tremendicon is a non-profit convention experience where real educational experiences are available to attendees. From professionals in their creative roles, attendees get to have an interactive and face-to-face opportunity to foster creativity. Artists paint canvases of education and discussion. Writers delve into their craft of weaving tales. Game designers sharing details of the minutiae of game development are just a few of the tracks that Tremendicon is proud to offer. Tremendicon takes place May 30th through June 1st at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center. For attendee badges and or information, head over to Tremendicon.com.
The one in the 417 Gamer podcast is our topic of the show, and we're talking about
small footprint games.
In theory, in our heads, I'm thinking the footprint itself is about the size of a cafe table. If you went to like a little coffee shop, enough space to play your game, but to keep a little tea or a coffee off to the side, maybe a pastry. And like we talked about it, we have friends that have smaller apartments, and they can't fit a huge or a good-sized kitchen table for a gaming table.
Or a big gaming table.
So even a little coffee table. These games, in theory, would fit on a good coffee table.
Yeah.
So, we have, but do you like playing small footprint games at restaurants while we're waiting on food?
There have been many times that we have said, gosh, I wish I brought a game in with us.
Yeah.
Where it's either the service is taking a long time, or the food's taking a long time, or I think a lot of times you and I will go to sports bars, and I mean, there could be everyone's watching a certain sporting event, and that you and I are not following any of the teams, where we would like to be doing an activity, and you know,
let's pop out Star Realms and play a game. Yeah, I don't mind playing games. Now, I know some of our friends and family kind of think that's kind of gauche. Oh my God, why did you bring a game here?
But it's not just us. We were at Coyotes the other day, and we looked over, and there was a couple playing a little card game.
I know, it was like Dutch Blitz or something quick and simple, and they're like, oh, you guys play games? And we introduced them, like, come on out and play games.
Yeah.
Like, well, we work Thursday. I'm like, oh, that sucks. We'll come out sometime.
Yeah.
I hope they found, either Metagames or Village Meeple or any of the local game stores and got to play.
Yeah.
There's, one of the really small footprint games that we play that's actually a solo game that we play cooperative is A Gentle Rain. That's a very small little footprint. You play it, you're done with it. It's cute. How often do small footprint games get played at Ladder Collection? For us, quite a bit.
I was going to say that we play those just as much as we do the big guys.
Yeah. I feel like some people in our group, and some people in general, the big games catch their eye, and I get it. If we have time and the space, and our table's cleared off, I would love to play Terraforming Mars, or Ark Nova, or Concordia as much as possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes laundry is on one side of the table, and you have just enough room for a Splendor Duel, and you know what you do? You enjoy that Splendor Duel as much as you can. And for Splendor Duel, we love the heck out of it.
Oh, we do.
Spoilers. Or, Star Realms, like we had mentioned. Silk that we did talk about or we're going to talk about. I don't remember how. We've recorded several segments, and I don't know how it's going to fall. But Silk is a smaller game. That was pretty fun. That fits in a smaller footprint.
Yeah.
But I feel like our smaller footprint games get to the table as much, maybe sometimes more, because when we get a new small footprint game, a lot of times those are more in the filler time slot where they're 10 to 30 minutes, as opposed to our big box games are like an hour to 2.
Yeah. Or more.
We have some of those games that go the 3-4 hour mark, and you're like, oh, that's a good game.
Yeah.
Until they're not, and you're like, oh, why is this still going? What would you say the smallest game that we own?
Well, technically, by your definition of small footprint games, a game like Werewolf, where you just have
Paper App Dungeon.
Or
looking at it right now.
Oh, yep.
Just a little notepad and a pencil.
That's it.
That's our smallest footprint game. There was a game that got kickstarted, I want to say about 10 some odd years ago, that was called Coin Age. It was one card. And then you needed to have money of like quarter through penny. And then you place your coins on that card as it was area control.
Oh.
I used to have it, but I don't anymore.
It reminds me of that little peg game at the Cracker Barrel, where there's the
Nine
little
Man's Morris, yes.
Yeah, where you move the little pegs around.
I used to be able to, I could do the triangle, but the one that was the plus symbol, that one I had trouble with. I always get down to 2. They'd be way away from each other. So, do you feel like small footprint games... I will say this on small footprint games. I feel like we don't have to kick those out as much as we do the big box games.
Because they usually have a small box.
They have small boxes. So we grab a small footprint game, even if it's like just chuck it on the table or on the shelf. And it takes like 40 of those suckers to go in the same spot that 4 big box games had to fill up.
That is true.
So, I mean, we had we have a World War II 2-player game that's called General Orders. It's from Osprey Games. It's in the same size box that Village Rails came in. And we've popped it out twice, read the rules, and we're about to play it, and something's come up each time. But I've held on to it because we still haven't actually played the game. And I haven't felt the need to get rid of it because it's a small box.
Yep.
But eventually we're going to play it and decide... Does this just get chucked back on the shelf, or do we need to keep it?
And I think that I give them a little extra bump for keeping them because we can always have one either in my purse or in the console of the car, in case we go to somebody's house and like, hey, you want to play a game? We've got one in the car,
It wouldn't hurt us to get a couple more copies in each of the cars. Couple copies of 5 Crowns, maybe either Marvel Remix or Splendor Duel.
Yeah, little card games to always have.
So, for me, I kind of feel like we give the small footprint games their due in our collection.
I do, yes.
Do you feel like others do?
Actually, I do not, because at our game nights, when everybody brings out their game bag, and they unzip, and you're like, hey, what'd you bring? They're the bigger box games. Very seldom do I see anybody bring out a smaller box game.
Unless it's brand spanking new.
Yeah. So I think we probably play ours more than the people we're around. I'll say that at least.
And that's nothing against anybody. It's just what your taste is what your taste. And also, on Thursday game night, you really want to get that game that you played the 40-60 MSRP for over the game that you spent $15 to $25.
Right.
You spent
the big showy guy
$25 on Splendor Duel that is a 2-player game, or Silk. Silk is a smaller board game. That one you're not going to push near as much for unless you got Arcs.
Yeah.
You got Arcs, which is that big deck builder space exploration game. That you're going to push way harder to get played than the little bitty guy. And I get that.
Yeah. But no, I like our little games, and I want to keep them.
Well, after talking about small footprint games,
let's talk about a big one.
Oh, I was going to talk about 7 of our favorites.
Oh, yes.
Moon City Con for Meeple Kind is headed to the Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield, Missouri, June 6th through the 8th. Get your badges at mooncitycon.com. That's right, we're headed to Saturn this year. We invite board gamers of all ages to join us on Titan this June. On Saturn's largest moon and the second largest in the entire solar system. This year we're excited to introduce brand new events and thrilling challenges for everyone to enjoy. And of course, we're bringing back fan favorites, including the best play-to-win selection in Springfield, daily prizes, and vendor raffles. Also, we'll be having our first ever silent charity auction, benefiting the Care Animal Rescue Clinic. Don't miss this chance to be a part of an unforgettable gaming adventure. Register now, and together, let's conquer Titan for all Meeple Kind. Get your badges at mooncitycon.com, and we'll see you in Springfield, Missouri, June 6th through the 8th at the Hilton Garden Inn.
The 7 in the 417 Gamer podcast is our favorite 7 of a given category, and we're doing
small footprint games.
And we talked about it in the topic of the show. In theory, a small footprint game is something that kind of fits on a cafe style table, one of those small tables.
Yeah, something you don't need a big gaming table to play on.
And we also asked kind of a question in the 417 Gamer group on Facebook with the board game group and so on. Mm-hmm. And some people were like, well, what do you consider a small footprint game? That's going to vary for different people.
Sure.
For some people, a small footprint for them might be a tray table in an airplane. And some of these games are going to be too big for that.
Yeah.
But in my thought, if you were going to take a small little game to a cafe and have a cup of tea or coffee and a little pastry, play some games while you're waiting for that or whatnot, just enjoying the day, what would you play? So, without further ado, number 7 is The Game. Andrea, what do you think about The Game?
It's a card game, so it's small, fits in basically a regular poker style box. You can drop it in your purse even and carry it around. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it is a game that if we need a filler game for a decent sized group to pull out.
It's currently published by Pandasaurus Games. It's designed by Stefan Bendorf. The game is a cooperative game where you have 4 piles that you're playing cards to. You have 2 that are going up from 0 to 99, and 2 that are going down from 99 down to, or 100 down to 1. On your turn, you must play at least 2 cards. And you're going in successive order. So if I play a 5 on that one going up, the next one has to be higher and so forth. Eventually, these piles are going to get so high that it's going to be near impossible for you to play cards. But there is a little trick to the game. If you can play a card that's exactly 10 in the opposite direction, you can play that to help stave off defeat. The object of the game is trying to run out the whole deck, and the cards number from 1 to 99.
Yeah.
I enjoy this. It's something really nice to play in the middle of things.
And it's different because it is co-op. Not a lot of the games that we have are co-op. Most of them are player versus player. So I think that's another reason that it is so high on my list.
Yeah.
Just because of that, that co-op factor.
Yeah. Number 6.
Czar.
Czar is designed by Chris Berm. It's published by Rio Grande Games. It is in the GIF project. Czar is an abstract strategy game. You have a grid of triangles within a big hexagon grid.
It looks a little bit like Chinese checkers, kind of.
A little bit.
With the lines.
You have 3 pieces. You have one that is a solid color. You have one that has a dot in the very center, and then you have one that has a dot with a ring. On your turn, your first move, you have to take a piece. Your second move can be to take a second piece or improve a piece.
And what you mean by taking a piece is like checkers style, where you stack your chip on top of another chip.
And you take it. And improving is stacking your own on top of one of your own pieces, and it kind of makes it a king-like.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any extra movement, but it improves what it can take. And you can take any piece the same height or lower than whatever that piece was.
Yeah.
It's got a fairly small board. This might... And all the pieces just go directly on the board. So this is on the larger side of the small footprint games, but we played this on a small table at Moon City Con, one of the little cafe tables while we were waiting for some food to come out.
Yeah.
So in my head, I would absolutely play this with you if we were traveling. And
Yeah. It is just a 2-player game, though.
Yes. Two-player abstract strategy. Number 5.
Cartographers.
Cartographers is one of those random flip and fills, roll and writes type games, designed by Jordi Adon and published by Thunderworks Games. Everybody gets a piece of paper from a scratch pad that has squares and some art that's already on there, little mountains. Then you're going to play 4 seasons, and you are mapping out what you're seeing as you're going through the lands. As you flip over these cards, the cards will flip out, and you'll have 2 types of terrain you can potentially fill in, and a shape that you fill them in with. So, like, it might be blue and green. You can either fill in water spaces, or you can fill in grasslands. And then you draw them on your board, and a lot of people, including us, like to bring out colored pencils and make them nice and pretty.
You can just fill in the square.
You can fill in the square, and then you draw kind of, if it's forests or greenery, you put little triangles for trees. If it's red, you put arrows for houses. If it's blue, you put waves for waters. Fun game, roll all right. I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
A little break there. Number 4.
5 Crowns.
5 Crowns has been a family staple for my family. Designed by Marcia J. Falco, released in 1996. 5 Crowns, I've dubbed it the way better Phase 10. Phase 10, you have different ways where you're trying to get sets or runs. And you're trying to go through all 10 phases, but it feels like Phase 10 goes on forever.
Yeah.
Where this is going to end. In 5 Crowns, there are 5 suits: stars, spades, clubs, hearts, diamonds. And they go from 3 to king. There's also jokers thrown in. You shuffle the deck, and each round, how many cards you deal out, that's what's wild. And and you play through to get sets and runs. A set or a run has to be at least 3 cards. Your runs have to be in the same color suit. However, the wild can be anything, of course. And you're trying to not get points. So on a turn, you're going to draw a card from either the deck or the discard pile, the top of the discard pile, and then you're going to discard a card at the end of your turn. If your whole hand can either be part of a set or a run, you put it down and you have gone out. Once that happens, every other player gets one more turn to try and do the same. Mm-hmm. And then they try and run out as much as they can. Whatever cards that are stuck in their hand that they could not run out with are worth face value. So a 3 is worth 3, a 10 is worth 10, Jack is 11, Queen is 12, and a King is 13. If you're stuck with a wild and you could not make that part of a set or a run, those are worth 25. And if you're stuck with a joker that you couldn't make part of a set or a run, that is 50. So in theory, unless you had... I need to refresh on my rules on how many natural cards you have to have. But unless you had just like 3 jokers and you kicked a joker out, I don't see why you would take points from jokers unless you were just absent-minded and kept it in your hand.
Right.
But we've played this so many times, and we've introduced it with so many people that has spawned a couple game nights for those people as well.
It really has.
Small footprint, plays really well. It's not going to be necessarily the feature game for many gamers' nights.
But it's great to have in your game bag in case you sit down with friends or family who are not big gamers. Whip it out. Everyone's going to be able to play this game.
Or at a game night, if somebody brings a family member that's not a big gamer, like, oh, hey, I brought my cousin or my mom or whatever. Break out 5 crowns, teach it, play it. Great game. What next?
Star Realms is number 3.
Number 3 is Star Realms.
Another card game.
2-player. This is designed by Robert Daugherty and Darwin Castle, published by Wise Wizard Games. In Star Realms, it's a deck builder. And for me, and I've championed this game because I hate deck builders for the most part, softened a little bit, to now I just dislike most deck builders. But in Star Realms, you're interacting with each other. You're attacking each other's health. You have a Federation point system. Your hand, you start with crummy little spaceships that can give you just a little bit of money, a little bit of attack value. And throughout there, you're going to buy different factions. The blue faction is going to potentially help you get health and do some more damage and some buying. Green is heavy damage. Red helps you get rid of the crummy cards out of your hand. And then gold helps you draw more cards or make your opponent discard cards. Really fun game. And the first person to lose all their health points loses the game. Then there's also 4-player games of this. Or you can just take multiple decks of the beginner set and play 4-player or 6-player. Really like it. You humor me and play it. I don't know if you like it as much as I do.
I think there is a Star Trek version of this game that I prefer, just because it has the Federation ships, the Klingon ships, I like my themed games.
And over the years, maybe the Star Trek might overtake Star Realms for me, but not yet.
Yeah.
I have 70 plays of Star Realms, and Star Realms, we have like 3.
Yeah. It's new. We just started.
Number 2.
Jam Sumo.
Jam Sumo is something that I wasn't looking to find, but I knew about it. Last year at Geekway, Brown Castle Games, who is a Crokinole board maker, was at Geekway, and they had Jam Sumo there. And I told Andrea, I said, we got to get Jam Sumo. And we did. And then we went back there and we went ahead and bought us a Crokinole board too. Crokinole, I think it takes up the whole cafe table, and you can't fit a coffee, so we didn't put Crokinole on this list.
And it's a giant heavy board. You're not going to be carrying that thing around.
But Jam Sumo,
Jam Sumo, which is little,
is about half the size, roughly.
The board's about 14 inches across,
right?
And everything is contained inside that little disc.
The way they make it.
Yeah.
The original version was a square arena, and you flick your dice in there and played up to 4. The one that Brown Castle Games makes plays all the way up to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jam Sumo's dexterity game with dice. The jam portion, you're trying to jam your dice into the center hole and lose your dice. Once somebody has lost all their dice, you count up points. And at that point, points are bad.
Yeah.
Then you play the sumo portion, where you're flicking your dice at each other and trying to knock each other out or through the hole. Once again, once somebody loses all their dice, you freeze. But this time, points are good. You take your sumo points, you subtract your jam points, and that's your score. Or if you like one version of the game better than the other, you can just play jam or just play sumo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little rambunctious to play in a cafe setting, but as far as a small footprint...
Yeah, it doesn't take up hardly any room. Like I said, you got 14 inches, you got room for this game. The only thing, I wouldn't take it to a cafe or something because you can knock the dice off on the floor. And
you might be chasing dice.
Yeah, you might be chasing dice.
But as far as a small footprint, I think it
is.
And so you also have some people in small apartments that have those like 60s, 70s metal rimmed tables that can't fit a big board game.
You could play Jam Sumo on a TV tray.
Yeah. So good. That's why it's our number 2. And our number 1, which, if you've listened to this podcast a couple times, you might be tired of hearing us talk about it, is...
Splendor Duel. We play it probably once a week.
Yes. Designed by Marc-Andre and Bruno Catala. Published by Space Cowboys. The artist is David Tassello. We love this game. We've said it over and over. We love Splendor, especially Splendor Marvel. And when they brought out Splendor Duel, we've both kind of dismissed it, and then we heard some rumblings around some friends going,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So then we picked it up, and it's not just pretty good.
It's great.
It's great.
We play it like it's sitting right there. We should be playing it right now.
Right.
While we're
and
recording.
After we're done recording, we might.
Yeah. That's how much we like it. Only drawback, it is just, as the name suggests, it's a duel. It's a 2-player game.
I'm fine with that because once we get 3 to 4 players, then we'll pop out Marvel Splendor then.
Yeah. But yes, if you have someone to play this with, do it.
All right. That was the 7 in the 417Gamer podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The 417Gamer podcast is recorded and produced by Andrea and Rick Bagwell. The intro music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and the outro music, Making Up for Last Time, was created by Origami Replica. For links to our show notes, music, and guest links, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. Until next time, keep gaming in the 417. Let's talk about a big one.
Oh, I was going to talk about 7 of our favorites.
Oh, yes. Let's cut that out and redo this. Start again.
We're not doing that.
Oh.
Let's go on to the 7.